Hello, and welcome to Let's Talk Spoop. I'm your host, Don, and today we're starting a special Halloween Spooptacular where I am going to attempt to do every Halloween movie before Halloween. So, today we're starting with the original 1978 Halloween that I watched on Shudder. It's also available on a couple of other streaming services. Roku TV, Hoopla was another one that I heard. I don't know what that one is. But if you don't have the Shudder, there are some other options. Anyway, moving on. So, this movie is a classic. I understand that it is slightly different than my normal videos in that I am going to discuss a well-known movie that I have seen before rather than a relatively unknown movie that I have not seen before. So, yeah. Anyway, I did my best to not allow my prejudice to color my review of this movie, but I probably failed because I got a pretty good review. So, we're going to, as per normal, talk about these 6 categories of story, acting, music, atmosphere, look, and creep. So let's go ahead and talk about the story. So it opens up with white text on a black background, Haddonfield, Illinois, Halloween 1963. It goes from a point of view of somebody walking up to a house where there are 2 apparently teenagers making out, and then the person goes in the back door, grabs a knife. It's clearly a child's hand, grabs the knife. He goes upstairs, dons a clown mask, and then vigorously stabs the woman, the man having left. Then we time skip to Smith Grove, Illinois, October 30, 1978. And Smith Grove is, leading into Smith Grove, we have a nurse and a doctor driving, talking. The doctor says things along the lines of, "Don't underestimate it." When they get to the hospital that they're heading to in Smith Grove, there's all the insane patients are outside, and one of them jumps onto the car while the doctor's trying to get in, and the nurse rolls down the window, and then that guy reaches his hand in, rips the nurse out of the car, and drives off with it. Turns out it's Michael Myers. So the rampage is going to begin fairly soon. So at this point, the only time you actually heard Michael Myers stated is at the very beginning of the movie. They actually don't really say the name a lot. He's kind of just like a figure rather than a name. Then we get introduced to our main character, who's played by Jamie Lee Curtis. This was her first role. And she did a spectacular job. She is probably the only good acting in this entire movie, except for maybe Dr. Loomis. Anyway, so she's walking to the school, talks to a kid about the boogeyman, or babysitting, and then a little bit about the boogeyman. She has to go up to the Myers house, drop off a key. There's heavy breathing from behind the door. Then we get to the doctor talking about how dangerous Michael is again. And then we get some foreshadowings about fate and death. And then, so you got Dr. Loomis kind of just being the classic Ahab, who's searching for his white whale. And then I have written in here as a little note that Annie is the worst friend ever. I hated her, and I was very happy when she got killed because she sucks. There's literally a scene where she calls Jamie Lee Curtis's character, Lori, and just chomps on an apple into the phone and doesn't say a word at all. And then is calls back after Lori hangs up on her and is "Why'd you hang up on me?" I hate her. I hated her so much. Anyway, so story, 2.5 out of 5. At the time, is fairly original, not 100% original, but fairly original. It doesn't really stand up to originality these days because it's been done 1.5 million times. But 2.5 out of 5 for story. Acting. There are boobs within the first 5 minutes of the movie. I feel like that should give you an idea of how much the acting caliber was actually important. Really, as I stated earlier, the only real good acting in it is Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie, and with a secondary of Dr. Loomis, who I forgot who played him, but Dr. Loomis. So acting, 2 out of 5. It's not the worst acting I've ever seen, but it's, stilted, classic 80s acting. It's better than the acting in Sleepaway Camp, though, so that's fair. And I say classic 80s acting, even though this movie was made in 1978, so meh. Music. Oh my god, the music. So, this movie's a classic, right? The music is iconic. It's hard not to view it through that iconic lens, but it gives you chills. Like, from the opening theme to straight on through the whole movie, the music is just spot on and terrific. So, 4 out of 5 on music. I didn't give it a 5 out of 5 because there's not a lot of music. It's really mostly just the same song played at different times and different parts of the song. So 4 out of 5. Atmosphere. There's a good amount of time spent on building tension. Dr. Loomis's foreshadowing is perfect. So it opens up with the first murder, and then you kind of get some implied murders, but it's a good solid 40 minutes of them building tension for when Michael actually starts killing people. So 4 out of 5 for atmosphere. The look. The mask. It's iconic. Makes Michael very creepy. However, everything else is 1978 special effects. So you're not going to get much from the special effects side. 2.5 out of 5. And then Creep. This movie is the gold standard for slasher films. This movie hits everything that it takes to hit if you want to make a good, creepy slasher film. The jump scares still get me, even though I've seen this movie probably 30 times, right? Probably more than that. I've seen this movie many, many times, and it still gets to me every time I watch it because it is the gold standard for slasher films. And that would be all of the categories. So tally up our scores, divide by 6, because that's how math works. And we get a 3.3 out of 5 for the original Halloween, 1978.